Hey everyone, it's Andrew Brown. In this lab, we want to take a look at how to run a scheduled event. We saw that it's very straightforward, but let's make sure we know how to do it. I'm going to open this up in github.dev as we don't need any attached compute. So I'm pressing period on my keyboard. Before I do that, I'm just going to right click and open the actions tab here as I want to quickly toggle between the two here. Notice I have nothing set up here, so it is a clean slate. But what we'll do is wait for this to spin up. And so in here, I have that scheduled template somewhere here. Here it is. Okay, and so I just want to show you that if we look up scheduled workflows GitHub, they have a lot of interesting examples. So mostly when you go to these event triggers, you can always just go down here and say, okay, I want to know scheduled. And we can see some options here. They kind of explain cron expressions. But let's take a look here at this schedule action. So it says webhook event payload. So there's no payload to pass to it. There are no activity types. It's going to have the last commit on the default branch for the SHA, and it only works on the default branch. And it's important that you try to read these things because sometimes there are restrictions, like this one says will only run on the default branch and things like that. So just always take your time to do that. Now, another thing I'd like to check is, does this show up as a repo? So I'm going to go ahead and just type in GitHub, and I'm just going to take a guess and type in actions and then schedule, because all these should be open source. So it doesn't show up there, but I'm going to just say actions schedule GitHub. Maybe I got the address wrong here. Because maybe so, I don't, the question is, are they built in or are they always in a repo? So I'm going to go ahead and try this again. GitHub actions repo. Let's try this instead. Okay, that is the repo. And so I'm just curious, does it show up? So it doesn't show up anything like that, so that's fine. So it's probably built in, but it would have been nice to know, like, can we look it up and see how it works? But this one doesn't specify, well, sorry, this is an event trigger, it's not an action. So that makes sense why it's not showing up there. Okay, I got a little bit confused. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy this file. I'm gonna go up here into our .github folder. And I'm not sure why, but I guess our workflow folder vanished. So what I'm gonna do is create a new folder here called workflows. And I'm gonna create a dummy file called, I'm trying to remember what we call it for the dummy file. There's actually a particular file that you create when you want to, keep. Because it keeps deleting that folder or removing it because it's gone, but we'll go ahead and paste that in here. And so now we have the schedule tab. So the question is, how does this work? So this one is set to work on every 5 minutes. So if we go over to, let's say, crontabguru.com, it tells us some stuff here down below. So here it says at 4:05, next at this time, okay? So it's telling you the next time it will appear. But if I go ahead and just remove this here, now it says at the minute at 5, and then if I do this and this, then I get at every 5th minute. So this means it'll repeat every 5th minute. How do I know? Well, I don't really know this too well, but you can always just go over to ChatGPT and whatever tool you want to do and say, give me a cron expression that occurs every 50 minutes, only on Sunday and Tuesday. And I wonder if it can make it for us. There you go. So my point is that you don't have to really memorize cron expressions, but there is logic behind it. So that one here is every 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to wait 5 minutes, I'm going to just change this down to like 2 minutes or 1 minute. We'll do 2 minutes. And I'm going to save this. And so we'll commit this. All right. And all this is going to do is run this every 2 minutes and then echo out the current server time. Now, since this is Ubuntu, we are just running a regular command. And date is something that is available on Ubuntu. And that's why it will print out the date there. But we'll go ahead and just say add schedule workflow here. And just a reminder, if you haven't, remember to fork the repo and do this in your own repo, okay? So we've committed that, and now I'm gonna go over to the Actions tab. And so now it notices that the workflow is there. Notice that because I do not have a name, it shows the full name. I think we go back here. Yeah, we don't have a name there. Sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. But we're waiting for this to trigger. So this should just trigger on its own. So we're gonna wait a few minutes. I'm gonna pause here and then come back, okay? All right, I've been waiting a while here. I don't see anything, but let's give it a hard refresh and see if something shows up. Nothing as of yet. This is one that you have to be really patient with because I just know from experience that I thought it didn't work and I just waited long enough and then it happened. So there could be some time it takes for the server to spin up, but generally it's really quick. So yeah, again, we'll just have patience here, and I'm sure it will appear, okay? There we go, finally triggered. It was definitely more than a couple minutes, so I was getting a bit worried there, but at least it appeared. So I'm gonna click into here and take a look, and you can see it runs extremely quickly. So duration 11 seconds. So we can go in here, say set up the job so we can see it, echo the current time, there it is, and there's the job completion. Now we can wait and see it trigger again. I'm not that interested in doing that, but what I am gonna do is go back here, because imagine I want to stop this. We can go up to the top right corner and disable the workflow. We can programmatically do that as well, but for now, we're just gonna keep it really simple and easy, okay? So that covers that, and we don't even have to move anything back. We'll just leave it alone where it is. If this becomes a mess, then we'll clean it up later, okay? See you in the next one. Ciao.